All right, guys. Good morning. I want to take a minute and talk about. We took a step back to revisit String API. We had used a couple methods out of the String API when we were doing different labs with arrays and things like that. But I actually wanted to do a lab on String API. So I gave you notes. This is from Unit 5. Basically, reminds you how a string is declared, how to find the length, and how the length is actually calculated. One method we used was char_at and an index. So you put in the index from 0 to the length -1, and it'll give you the char from that. We have other things like substring. You can do substring with the length. Just manipulating substring. You got char_at with for loops. Immutability, which means you can't change a string, so you have to create a new string and store it into that one. So the main ones we use are ends with, equals, replace all, split, starts with, to lowercase, to uppercase, and trim. So what I wanted to do was kind of walk through the setup of the lab assignment. So I gave you this lab called Love Phony Pigs, and it's because you have a love program called MatchMaker. You have a text-to-note number, which is phone, and then pig Latin. All right, these should be fun. I enjoy these, problems myself. So these should be a fun thing for you to work on. So I'm going to go through kind of MatchMaker and how I would set it up. I'm not going to implement all the code. You're going to be having to do some of that yourself. But this is for those of y'all that just don't know how to get started on this, and that's the part you're still struggling with. Alright, so get rid of this. So what it wants us to do, I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. We'll call it Love Phony Pig. Yeah, why not? But the actual one I'm going to work on is the matchmaker. So read in the names of two people. So it wants us to read in the names of two people. Alright, so I'm going to quickly get rid of all the excess comments to make more space. That's fine too. Alright, so if I want to read in the names of two people, whenever you see the phrase read in, you know you're going to need a scanner. So I'm going to go ahead and import a scanner, and then I need to create the scanner. So I'm going to do it globally, that way I can use it anywhere. Alright, so created a scanner, imported a scanner, so now we can actually use a scanner. So I'm going to come down in my main method. If I want to read in the names of two people, then actually, print statements for variable read in. Alright, so please enter first and last name of the match. Right, and I'm going to get real clever here and be cutesy with it since it's a love program. Alright, so then I can also have another one that's please enter the second. Alright, let's do first and last name of the match again. We'll use the same wording, we won't specify. Just want to be consistent. Okay. So that's going to be printed out to the user. So I actually need to read in what they type. So we're going to need two variables here. You can just call it name1, string name1, and string name2. So we did the first part of this. Read in the names of two people. You should then total all the LOVEs, uppercase or lowercase, found in each of their names. So to do that, we're going to have to actually loop through each name to do that. So we're going to need two loops. For loop 1, for the first person's name to count LOVEs. Alright, then you're going to need for loop 2 for the second person's name to count LOVEs. Alright, so I'm going to do the first loop here. So our loop always starts at I for the iterator until you use I, and then you got to use J, K, etc. So as long as I is less than, so we want our middle condition to, we want our loop to go until we're at the end of the string. So as long as I is less than name1.length, it'll keep looping, and then every time we just need to increase I. Alright, so in class we've been using arrays a lot, and with arrays it's name1.length, but here we're using a string, so it's actually a method, so I can't forget my parentheses. The reason I did that is I saw a lot of y'all doing that in class, so you just got to be careful not to confuse using length and length from strings to arrays. Alright, so at this point, now we just need to count up all the LOVES. So if the letter we're at in the name is an L, then we want to increase a counter. So I'm going to go up here and create a couple counters just at the top. So I'm just going to call it counter 1, and may make me initialize it. I don't know yet. Well, I can go ahead and make it 0 because it doesn't matter. It makes sense that it's 0. Alright, so inside here, what did I say? I said if. So now I got to figure out how to get each letter of the string as I'm going through the loop. So I could just say name1 dot. Okay, here's the methods we can use, right? Contains, content equals. Here's char at. Returns the char, so that gives me one letter. So let's try that. Char at I. So if name1.char at I is equal to L, right? Okay, well that's going to work. Then I want to increase counter 1. Huh. Okay, so I need to think about this for a second because remember it said uppercase and lowercase. So here I'm just checking the lowercase L. To make my life easier, one thing I could do is up here at name1 where I'm scanning in their answer. Alright, so when you do keyboard.nextLine, it's scanning in a string. So if I put a dot here, I can actually use a string method to make it lowercase as it gets scanned in. So whether they enter upper or lower, it's going to be stored as a lower, which is going to save me time in making this if statement. If I don't do this, alright, I'm sorry, Miss Maddox came through, so I had to take a break. But like I was saying, to make life easier, so I don't have to take into account lowercase l and capital L, I can just make everything go to lowercase. So this way I can just check the character at whatever letter, and if they're all lowercase, then that works. If not, I would have had to say if it's this, or char at I is equal to this. Alright, so I would have had to do lowercase and capital for both of them. L and lowercase l, capital L, lowercase o, capital O, lowercase v, capital V, etc. But if I make them all lowercase up here, then I don't have to do that. I can just do it for, name1.char at I equals to O. And that's it. Or name1.char at I equals to V. Alright. Or name1.char at I equals to E. Alright, so this if it's any of these letters as it goes through, so say I type my name, Jesse Smith, Jesse Smith, it's going to go to the J and see that none of these are true, so it's not going to do anything. Then it's going to go to the E, and it's going to get to here and see that this statement is true, so it's going to increase the counter. Alright, so if you do my name, there's 2 E's, so it's going to end up, counter 1 should be 2. So the way we could actually test that is just say print out counter 1 after the loop goes. Alright, so after the loop runs all the way through, so let me run this. Type in Jesse Smith, Bob Dylan, and it prints out a 2. So I know that what I did worked. Alright, so you're going to need to do the same thing for a second loop here. Alright, for the second person's name. So name 2 instead of name 1. Alright, once you get that second loop completed, then you're going to have to, pretty much what you're going to have to do is do an if statement to see if the sum of counter 1 and counter 2, well, you're going to have to sum up counter 1 and counter 2, then do modulus 2, so that will be sum modulus 2 to check for even or odd. So as the lab says, if it's even, then it means no love. If it's odd, then it means love. Alright? So those are the things that you've got to finish. I've got you started. I hope that you can see how we can use these string methods to kind of move forward with this. Just call me over if you have any questions or leave me comments on the YouTube page. Alright, thank you.